and welcome to My Xbox and Me, our post show for the Xbox Game Showcase in July 23rd to be precise. I am one of your hosts, MC Fixer, alongside the one and only Too Fresh Crash. Crash, how you doing?
Hello. I'm doing good. How are you? How are you feeling?
I feel good. I feel real good. But I've got lots of questions and we've got lots to talk about. So we've just watched the pre-show. For someone who maybe has come across the show a little bit late, or maybe they're watching live on Twitch right now, and what we're going to be doing with this show specifically is we're going to go down the run of show, then we're going to strictly take questions from Twitch chat, and we will go from there. This is sort of what you're getting for the post-mortem of what the Xbox Game Showcase is. I hope you enjoy it. You can follow me at MCFixer everywhere, twitch.tv/MCFixer, and Kresh at Kreshnik Plays on Twitter and at Kreshnik on Twitch. Enough of the rubbish though, because I want to get straight to it. Xbox opened the show with Halo. We see Halo Infinite, our first gameplay. We see what this game is. How was you feeling? What did you think? How does it look?
I really liked what we saw for Halo. I really liked it. I think it's going to be a good change of pace. I think the open world will be interesting. I just wonder how far the open world will actually go. Is it going to be sort of like a confined open world where it's open but linear? Something similar to, not on Xbox, but God of War, right? Where God of War is an open world, but it still is very linear in the way you traverse it, right?
Interesting. I never really thought God of War was an open world, but yeah, you're right. You're 100% right, but yeah, it's very linear, you're right.
Yes.
For me, obviously, someone who's not a Halo fan, like as I've said plenty of times on this podcast, this did just enough to get me interested. It was different enough to get me interested, where it was like, okay, I saw it, it looked beautiful off the bat. It looks like a next level Halo game. In what I don't know what I was imagining or what I expected, but it definitely looks like a next level Halo game. So that I'm super happy with. As soon as the map opened, I was like, okay, open world. And I was like, yeah, okay, I can get behind this. Because maybe, I was saying to chat, and I don't know if I'm right or not, but it's like, it's still going to be linear, it's still going to get your story, it's still going to get all that, but it's going to focus so much, with it being an open world, it's going to focus so much more on gameplay, right? Like, and I'm not saying that Halo doesn't, but for me as someone, it does have those little inklings of Destiny now. And it's not in the same way, because it's not a games as a service per se, but it's really good, and it looked really good, and I like it. I really do like it. Is it enough for me? This is my question. Would this game be, if we was in a different world where I'm like, okay, launch lineup, this is the game, would this be the game that blows my skirt up and says, you're buying it for this? I personally don't think so, because it didn't do enough different for me that it was like, oh my god, I must have it right this precise second. That is definitely coming from someone who's not a Halo fan though, but it did do enough different where it's like, I'm willing to give it a chance, I'm willing to play it, I'm willing to sit down and play that experience and find out what is Halo and what does it mean to, why is it so important to such a engaged community? And I feel like that's what they did with this. It is a soft reboot in terms of like what it's going to be moving forward. I think I could be wrong, but I think.
Yeah, no. I think I agree with you. I don't think even for me it would be enough to push me forward to, but I think it pushes me enough for a Halo game. Right? We saw the big baddie. You know, they already set him up and everything. I think that was good. The new weapons looked cool. The grappling hook looked cool. It looks like the problem. Gears back in some sort of way.
But you're not a Halo fan. You don't know what's new and what's not new.
Right. So none of that looks new to you. You're like, oh, it's just another gun. It
looks amazing. It looks great, but you don't know what's new.
So it's hard to get hyped for certain things.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. But yeah, I liked it. I like the look of the guns. I like the look of the world. I think the best thing for me, Chief looked great. I think the best thing for me was when you get out of the helicarrier. I forget what they call it. And you go directly and you get in the Warthog. It's like, okay, this is meant to be a big game. There's a Warthog right there.
Grappling hook,
yeah. You saw grappling hook places. You grapple hook to enemies as well. It looks like it'll be a fun mechanic in the game, right? I really liked what I saw for Halo. I think it was really well done.
Do you think it achieved what it needed to? You being someone who does play Halo, do you think it done enough for you to go, okay, this is different enough to, I don't know, sell it to people? I know you don't really have to sell it to people, really, because the Game Pass is that weird. We're in that weird place with Xbox right now, where it's like, well, nah, you're not worrying about selling a £60 game. You're worried about getting people in the ecosystem. And does this game do that? Do you think?
I think so. I think even if this trailer wasn't as good as it was, I think it would do a good job just because it's Halo.
Okay.
I think with the benefit of this game, with it looking solid, on top of like the grappling hook and a bunch of other stuff we've talked about, I do think it does a good job of like, hey, maybe I should get Game Pass for the month and try it out and get this game and everything.
Fair enough. Next up was State of Decay 3, Crash. And you know I was hyped.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting this. This was out of nowhere.
This was but this is what we were talking about and what we've been talking about.
Yeah,
which is,
absolutely.
And I've been saying this for a while, where like when Undead Labs gets some money behind them and gets to make a AAA State of Decay game, it's going to look amazing. And that is what they're, don't get me wrong, it's a CG trailer, but but it sets the tone for what I'm expecting now. And anything less than that, I'm going to tear it down.
Do you think that they'll go more of a single player route with this game, or you think they keep it co-op?
I think they've seen the failures of which were there, which was, okay, we tried to do multiplayer, it didn't work. What do people love about our game previously? It's that you are experiencing those stories. You are making those stories, which is permadeath. It's, am I going to send Trisha out there to do this run, to get that loot, when I know she's not the best shooter? It's diving more into those nitty-gritty mechanics that need to be more fleshed out, more than, let me run around with my friends. Like, that isn't what the game needed. As much as it was what I wanted at the time, after experiencing it, I'm like, that's not what it needed. And now we're going to get free, and I'm like, I know people are going to say, okay, well, it's just a CG trailer. It doesn't show you enough. It doesn't show. But I think we spoke about this. It's about setting the tone of what we're going to be getting through the Series X's lifestyle. Yeah. And that trailer sets the tone perfectly, which is like, you see the werewolf come over and she just screams at it like, just leave me the hell alone.
And it runs away.
And it sprints away. It doesn't try and attack. And it's like, we're going to get these stories. We're going to get these characters. Yeah. I hope.
I actually really like that the wolf runs away from you, and then you see the deer eating the wolf, and the wolf yells at you, and it's like, oh, okay. Yeah. The wolf isn't the highest predator here. It is the zombie deer. Right? Yeah.
No, exactly. I think it's a cool look behind the curtain of like, okay, we're moving into animals as well now. It's not just humans have got the virus. We don't know. Inside of Decay, you don't hear, like, there probably is enough out there, but you don't hear a lot about the virus and what's going on in the world. It's just like, we're surviving. We've got to try to get out, sort of thing. And that's kind of it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, so. I agree. I think this was a good tone setter for the game as well. You know, it's like, this is what you're going to expect. It is going to be dark and gritty. It is you surviving. It is wildlife, but also the zombies. The zombies are the real threat there, right?
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah, so I liked it.
Moving on, we had Forza. Haley, what's up?
Yeah.
Sure? Okay. Oh, you're all good. Where is it? 1 second. Haley's trying to crawl around me to not be in the camera shot so she can have her Apple Pencil. My bad, guys. Moving on. Forza Motorsport. Period. That's it. Done. Forza Motorsport. It is now Forza Motorsport. There is no more numbers. It is clearly a games as service. It's something they're going to build off. I feel like we got the inkling with that, with all the different posters and like the different platforms. Maybe I'm wrong.
I'll be honest, I didn't really get that from it, but they showed Forza and I was like, oh, it looks like more Forza. I wasn't reading too much into it.
They did a great job of like, it's Forza.
Yeah.
Do you know what Forza is? You didn't spend too much time on it. And we'll talk about that at the end, actually, like pacing and stuff like that. But I feel like people are going to do the thing that they always do, where it's like, we didn't see, it's not enough. They're going to start nitpicking It's not enough. And it's literally going to be the thing that Xbox gets. They've showed a CG trailer. Do you remember when Sony was showing CG trailers? Because I remember.
Yeah.
And everyone was losing their shit about it. Okay, so we've got that. We've got gameplay from Halo. We've got a CG trailer for Forza. You already know Forza's going to look amazing. So if you care about racing games, you have one of the best racing games today out there on Xbox. Exclusive to the platform. Yeah, you can play it on PC, but you know what I mean by this. When I say exclusive, I'm not going to keep saying, it's on PC. You understand what I mean when I say exclusive at this point forward. So for me, it's like, look. For me, it's like, what do I do? It's Forza, it's games of service. We're building off of that, and that is what this is. So that's where I go with it personally. That's where I go with it.
I agree. I agree.
Next up is the biggest disappointment of this show for me personally.
Everwild?
Everwild is the biggest disappointment of this show. They had eyeballs on it. We don't know what it is, Crash.
Okay, I agree
what
with
is
that.
It? Tell me. If you can tell me what it is, I would love it.
I absolutely agree with that, but I still think what they showed looked cool. But I think they're a little bit late to show proof of concept, and they need to start showing something more.
We've seen proof of concept.
I think the first time they revealed it was proof of concept.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't need this again.
Yeah. I agree with that.
And that's my biggest problem. It's like, even if I wanted to be excited for this game,
you don't know what you'd be excited for.
What am I excited? And that's what the lady said at Rare. I don't remember who her name was, so I apologize. But it was like, oh, we've already got a community building around this. I'm like, bullshit, do you? No one knows what this fucking thing is. They're buying into it because it's Rare, which, don't get me wrong, that's fantastic. And Rare are a fantastic studio and deserve support. But we don't have a damn clue what this thing is. So that was the biggest disappointment of this show. But in the same breath, it's literally what we've been saying, which is, show us that you have stuff coming.
Yeah.
9 of the 15 studios we saw stuff for.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah, no.
That's a lot.
Yeah, at least they showed it, and I do think that the game looked a lot better than, like... Because when I was watching it, I was comparing it mentally to Sea of Thieves, and I was like, it looks a lot better than Sea of Thieves. The lighting looks really good.
Yeah.
You saw, like, the hair moving on the animals and all that stuff, and it's like, it looks really good. But then you get to the point, is that CG, or is that in-game?
We don't know.
We don't really know. Yeah.
We need... And I need to see what I'm actually doing.
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah, I agree.
I don't get it. I just don't get it right now. And I surely they know that as well, and clearly they know that, but it's just, I just don't get it, so...
Also, this game was Series X only.
Is that what it said?
There was a few games that were Series X only. Yeah, this was one of them.
Interesting. Again, I have literally just jotted down quick. This is actually, I didn't even jot this down. Haley jotted all this down for me. So we'll go through on next week's My Xbox and Me. We can get more nitty-gritty about all of that. A ton of news that we missed from the week and stuff like that. So we'll get more into that. Again, you're getting 3 episodes of My Xbox and Me this week, so just be happy, please, and keep listening to them. Like I said, next up for me, next up on my list, I've got Tell Me Why. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, she did a great job. Damn, shout out to Haley. Chapter 1 coming August 27th. It looks like a Donut game. To be honest with you, that's kind of where I'm at with that. It's hard, right? Because I can't shit on them for not showing me more, because I don't think that type of game you can show more.
It's a story, yeah.
And it looked good. It looked like but it like there's nothing wrong with it. I'm a little bit upset it's episodic, but I kind of get why Xbox are doing this. It's literally the next fix. It's Disney's model, right? It's like Game Pass. If we can do, I don't know. I think they need to. The problem, I'm all over the place. I'm sorry. I know. The problem, what they need to do is they need to set expectations for when we're going to get the rest of it, and that's something that Don't Nod has been notoriously bad for. Life is Strange 2 is the biggest problem with that game, and why I never finished it was because of that.
Yeah, but I think a problem with that also is that game development is very complicated. And you can give it a year, but then what if you have to rush it out to meet those deadlines and you end up getting a buggy mess? I think that's one of the complications. And maybe you announce, like, this is our goal to finish it, and whenever you come into some hiccups, it's like, hey, the game's going to be pushed back a little bit or whatever.
Yeah, I feel like it's more just be overly transparent, though, at that point.
Yeah.
Like, just tell me that this is the roadmap and some things may go wrong. And then I'd be more happy. But that's just me. Then we got Ori 3 getting ported to, obviously, Xbox Series X. Going to be running at 120 frames per second. I felt like this was them saying, hey, our machine can do 120 frames per second. And let me show you how that looks. And let me show for the novice viewer, for people, sorry, Ori 2, not Ori 3, I apologize. It was here's 60 frames, here's 120. Can you tell the difference? Yes, by a mile. You can tell the difference. Do you care about that? No. Some people don't care, but some people do. You can't show that on Twitch. I think you can't show it on Twitch in terms of, I understand what you're saying, Slayer in chat. You can't show it because it only runs at 60 frames, right? But if you go and watch it, you can see the difference. You can.
But they also had
slowed
it like
it down to show you like this is what it's going to be.
Yeah.
So
they did their best job in trying to like express how it is. You can't really do it unless you see it yourself, right? And that's one of the difficult things about like, oh, it'll be 120 frames per second. You're like, well, I'm watching it right now and it looks the same as all the games I play. It's not that different.
Yeah. Stead's in chat, so I'll answer this question because why not? How many people have a 4K 120 hertz screen? Doesn't matter. They're setting precedent for what is to come, and they never even mention 4K. And plenty of people have 1080p 144 hertz monitors.
Yeah.
So
this is also just like sort of they're appealing to the highest denominator or like the lowest denominator would be. Whatever. They're appealing to the highest of the high who have like the best technology, right? It doesn't have to be appealing to anyone. All people want to do is like, oh, I have something that's elite. I have something that can play way better stuff than I'm capable of. I can upgrade to that later, right?
Yeah. No, 100%. We saw a new trailer for Grounded, which comes out in early access July 28th. I'm super excited for this game, Crush.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw the base building, and like it's going to be even more in depth than that, I can tell. And maybe what we're going to get on the 28th isn't going to be vindictive of. Is vindictive the right word? Indicative.
Indicative
is the word I was looking for. Thank you. For what we will get once the game fully releases. But for what I'm expecting on the 28th, I can't wait. And the trailer set the tone perfectly. If you want the biggest game in the world, go to Cyberpunk. And I pitched that off.
I thought that was really good. I thought it was really well done.
Yeah. I thought they did a great job. So
they also had my boy Rash in there. Salute.
From Battletoads.
Yeah.
Is that what his name
no
is?
Battletoads at all. I was disappointed.
Maybe we'll see them scattered around the garden at some point.
Maybe. Yeah. Who knows? I'm sure they'll have a bunch of Easter eggs in this.
Are they gonna have a bunch of weather stuff in that game? Do you think, like rain and like it washing away bits of your house and stuff like that?
I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know if that'll come in like day one, but I wouldn't be surprised if it comes down the line.
Yeah,
because that would be really cool. Because like even like the lightest bit of wind could be detrimental to them, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm really looking forward to that. It's not gonna be like a game that blows people away, clearly, but there's enough there in my opinion where I was like, this looks interesting, and this looks like a fun game, and this is something that keeps me appeased and keeps me in Game Pass for me personally.
Yeah, I think it'll grow a fandom around it. It'll be interested for all of the updates and keep the game well alive.
Yeah. Next up was I missed Outer Worlds. I apologize. We got the Outer Worlds DLC that came out, which was called Pillarin on Gorgon? Is that right? Pillarin on Gorgon? Is that right, Crush?
I think so.
You didn't get it right, Dan? That's no problem. September 9th, this is one of 2 DLC packs that are coming very, very soon. It's done by Private Division. So I was like, if this is done by Private Division, we're going to see Obsidian's new game straight away afterwards. I was like, we're going to see it, and then boom, what do we see? We see Avowed.
We see it, yeah.
We see Avowed, which is obviously Obsidian's brand new RPG. It from a tone piece, and that is what this trailer is. Again, I can't shit on them for that, because this is exactly what I said they needed to do. Even if they couldn't deliver gameplay, they had to tell me
just
what
show
was
us that something's coming. Yeah, and it was very clearly like, hey, we made a game, and that was supposed to be like Fallout. Here's a game that's supposed to be like Skyrim.
That's literally what I said, which I'm like, perfect.
So, yeah.
If you can give me that's what they did with Outer Worlds, right? And it didn't work for me just because I don't really care about those games as such, but I understand what they're doing, right? Which is you are making smaller budget. And I'm not saying that Avowed is going to be, but from the outside looking in, it's like smaller budget, smaller 20 to 30 hour experiences in these worlds.
Smaller scopes.
And you can get them out quicker compared to what Fallout does, and it comes out as a buggy mess and it just doesn't work. Like, I feel like they've hit a sweet spot there, and especially if Avowed works. Avowed. Yeah. Right? I sound that correctly.
Yeah.
But I'm interested at all. I definitely am. Yeah. Like, why not? Like, we'll get to it later, but I want to go through each of these games and talk about genre after the fact, because I feel that's very important for Xbox's portfolio.
I agree as well. Also to note, this was Xbox Series X only, and then the Outer Worlds DLC was also 10% off with Game Pass.
Got you. That's normal with Game Pass stuff, yeah.
Is it with DLC as well?
Yeah, you usually get a discount. If you have Game Pass, you
Got
usually
it.
get a discount.
All right.
Elder Slayer's helping me fill in. Like we say, we are doing this straight off the bat. It's set in the Pillars of Eternity world. So very interesting. Never played Pillars of Eternity, but more power to them. More power
Dope.
to them. Next up, we had As Dusk Falls.
Yes.
I don't remember this one. Can you?
This was the Interior Night. Which game was this? I don't remember it either.
Is this the? Is this the like the moody one? No, this is the one that I screamed at. Interracial relationship. This is the.
Oh yes, yes.
The Quantic Dream developers. What's the studio called? Let me make sure I get it right. Interior Night.
It's
Interior Night. And yeah, it looks interesting. It's obviously
Interesting.
story driven.
It's very art style is super different.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll be for me, but I think they're tackling an interesting subject as well. We'll see where that goes. I think it could be a cool game.
Yami, you're meant to be my mod. Don't drive people away from here. Jesus. Moving on, Psychonauts 2 came out. We saw Jack Black. I was really, really hyped because I thought we might have been getting a new Brutal Legend game. I got super hyped, and then it was just him singing in Psychonauts 2. More power to him. Don't get me wrong. I'm super happy. But yeah, no.
We saw some gameplay.
Yep, saw gameplay. It isn't a game for me.
Same. Yeah. I think it'll be a good game though. People love
people that care.
I'm sure
about
they
that
saw
game
this and they were like, "Oh my god, this is everything I wanted."
But yeah, so good for them. Destiny 2 expansion coming to Xbox Game Pass in September. So there's a lot there, right? You're getting Destiny 2 in Game Pass. You're getting all the expansions in Game Pass. You're getting even more. So it's like, how do you feel about that as a Destiny fan? Like
I actually really like that because there's cross progression in Destiny, and I've bought all the updates on the PC. But now it's like, oh, I can also play on my Xbox and play all the newest content and all that stuff, and not feel left out on that. I think this is really good for getting more people into Destiny, and I think this is a really interesting thing to see going forward with Destiny. If after the next expansion drops, do they put the older expansion into Game Pass as well? Sort of keep at least a community there of some sort, even if they're not on the most recent update.
I think this tells you everything you need to know about Stadia as well, right? They took that bag and was like, yeah, we'll do it, but...
yeah.
Like,
not looking great for them over at Stadia.
No. We'll be honest. All the expansions come into Game Pass on September 9th, and the new DLC will release November 10th. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Zyger,
also,
I appreciate it.
We Zyger mentioned we missed Senua's saga being set in Iceland.
I did. I apologize. I haven't got that written down. Yeah. So Hellblade 2 is going to be set in Iceland. You can watch a dev diary of them talking about all that on YouTube.com/ I don't know if it was Hellblade 2 or the studio name.
I think it was Ninja Theory's YouTube.
Ninja Theory. So YouTube.com/ Ninja Theory. So if you want to watch the dev diary there, go and check that out. Then we got a load of console launch exclusives, Crash. Games that I wasn't expecting. I wasn't expecting them to have exclusives, honestly. Some of them on the weaker side for me, but some of them looked relatively interesting. So we'll go like this, which was we got is the first one? Yeah, sorry. First one was Stalker 2.
Yeah.
Which I've never even heard of Stalker, so I didn't know what this was. But the tone of what we saw looked pretty interesting. It was dark, it was gritty, a little bit of magic there involved as well, along with some shooting. If it looks good when we see some more gameplay, I'll definitely go check it out, because why the hell not? Like,
agreed.
Cool. Next up then we had was Warhammer Dark Tide 2021, so an exclusive Warhammer game. Again, this one not for me personally, but good to have in the portfolio as well, and good to have another exclusive.
On Stalker 2, that's a Series X exclusive as well.
All of these aren't they? Console launch.
No, Stalker 2 is Series X exclusive. It's not on Xbox One.
Gotcha. Sorry, I understand what you're trying to say now. It's not, there's no cross generation on that one. Gotcha. Tetris Effect Contender. And then Haley puts in brackets best game of all time. Apparently, she's not played it, but apparently, is coming.
It's connected, not Contender.
I'll connect. I'll just see. I've got the wrong notes. The notes people not helping me out here. What do you think of that? Because I thought it might have been 1 versus 100, and I got really hyped.
I was seeing it at first. I was like, oh, maybe Fix was right. But then I saw like multiple people playing. I'm like, it's not 1 versus 100.
Yeah.
They're not having 2 people on the screen playing at the same time.
Facts. I thought my idea for 1 versus 100 was good though, personally.
Yeah, but they don't take good ideas.
Facts.
You know?
Facts.
I thought this was cool. This was just a game. This was a game that fills genres, right?
Tetris
Which we'll talk about later.
Big. Tetris is big, so I respect it nonetheless. Then we got the Gunk, which is the Image and Form game, which I said I'll play it no matter what. Image and Form have made fantastic games, always. And to see them here on the Xbox stage is really fun. Usually Nintendo exclusives, so it's very happy to see them here. One of the first interviews I ever did was with Image and Form, so I have a little bit of a soft spot for them over in Sweden, so shout out to them. Then we got the Medium, which really looked good. Blooper Team's new game. It takes place... You have the same world taking place at the same time, but you can see 2 different things. And chat was saying as well, the concept of it on its own was just fantastic. Like, it's a really unique thing to do. It's like, okay, we've got this hallway. Why don't we just use it twice and tell a story in that? And I guarantee that's how they tackled it. And it seems really cool. The concept really interesting. Is the game going to be fun though? And that's my problem with Blooper Team. I've played 2 of their games now, and the reason why Layers of Fear worked so well for me was I didn't know what Layers of Fear was, so I'm expecting something to happen the whole time, and you're scared, and it's really, really strange. This whole Medium, the dual story, which you're always pointing out in chat for me, it does seem really interesting. It seems cool. It seems new. It seems different. It seems like next gen. Do you know? Like, I'm not saying this couldn't have been done on the Xbox One, but they're using the technology clearly, so it could be real cool. I'm looking forward to it. What do you think of that one?
I think it's interesting. I don't know if I necessarily needed to see Medium here again.
Fair enough.
Because I don't think it gave me any different vibes than the first time I saw it.
Yeah. I think it's one of those tone pieces. It's got more variables on this.
And I think that's why they showed it here. It's like, oh, this is the Xbox game show. Let's actually show this here and be like, look, we're doing weird story stuff too. You know, we can do that as well.
Yeah. The next Genesis, Phantasy Star Online 2, which is like it's Phantasy Star Online 2, but there's like new stuff been put into.
No. This is a new game.
This is a whole brand new game.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware.
Oh, it's an expansion.
It's an expansion. Okay, it looked a lot better, so I'm assuming they're also going through graphical upgrades if that's the case. Because it didn't look like Phantasy Star Online 2 looks right now on the Xbox, but maybe that could just be a Series X thing.
Fair enough. Interesting.
Yeah.
And last but not least, before we got our one more thing, which was Crossfire X Campaign. Single player, not part of... They showed us the single player, not part of Game Pass, which was very important. They put down in the bottom. It looks really good. Like, I thought it looked really good. Remedy making it, which is huge, because we love... I love Remedy, I should say. I shouldn't say we love, because you actually don't love Remedy. I love Remedy. Seeing them back on Xbox exclusively is fan, at least console launch exclusively. It looked really good. It really, really good. They went out... We literally just did the Medium.
We went over both of those games.
Literally just did it.
Yeah, no, I thought it looked really well. Especially, I was a little worried after the beta came out, and I heard from everybody that the beta just is not it. It's not great. So when they started showing this, I was like, I don't know. But then the gameplay actually does look fun, which isn't surprising. No. It is Remedy, as you said. They do make good games, so I trust it will end up being a good game. Whether or not it's for me is a different question.
I'll give it a go, because why the hell not? I trust Remedy, and like you said, it looked good. Again, not gameplay. We didn't actually see gameplay. We just saw tonal piece kind of CG and stuff, but I'll give it the benefit of that and be happy with it. Last but not least, Crash, the one we have been waiting for 4 years. Fable is real. It is being rebooted.
Is real.
It is just called Fable. We saw a CGI trailer again. I'm excited for it. Don't get me wrong, I'm excited for it. Well, we needed more. We needed more.
They didn't even like really show us.
They showed us that the thing's happening, and I think that's what you
Yeah,
gotta give
but
credit for.
yeah, they don't really show us anything at all.
They showed
No
us
hint
the
of like
humor.
where the story is.
There's still
Yeah,
humor. We see that.
I did like
Yeah.
that, to be fair. That was cool. But like, is it a reboot in that they're just starting from the beginning and starting from scratch, or is it a reboot they're starting back from the first game? Like, where are they
find out
going
soon.
with the data shows? Yeah. I'm glad they announced it here. I think what they showed looked really good as well.
But
Just not enough, I don't think.
fair enough. We did Psychonauts too. Thank you very much, Aaron God. All right, let's open it up to chat though. Before I do that, so let's start queuing up questions, chat, for what you have about this. My question for you, Chris: did it meet your expectations? Did this Xbox showcase do what it set out to? For you?
It set out what I thought it was going to do. I would have liked some more stuff there, but I do think that this conference covered all its bases in terms of like the games it wants to approach and the genres, which even back with the Xbox One, once Phil Spencer came in charge, they did a really good job of trying to get as many genres as possible. And it looks like they're continuing it with the Series X, right? It's like, we want to let's get Tetris, let's get indie games, let's get big AAA games, survival games, horror games, all these different type of genres. We want to get our hands in all of them, so that if you come to our console, you have any sort of experience you want.
Well, this is what I was just about to say. Let's quickly go for it then, yeah? So Xbox, from an exclusive point of view, first party, right? You had Halo, which is a first-person shooter. State of Decay, which we assume is still a third-person action game.
Yeah.
We have Forza Motorsport, which is a simulation racing game. You have Everwild, which I can't say anything, we just don't know. Tell Me Why, which is a story narrative-driven game. Ori, which is a platformer, an action platformer. Outer Wilds DLC, which is a RPG.
Yep.
Grounded, which is a survival game. Avowed, which is an RPG, but in a fantasy setting.
Yep.
As Dusk Falls, which is again another narrative-driven story game. Psychonauts 2, which is a platformer. Like that's on that. Stalker, which I assume is a shooter. Tetris Effect, which is a puzzle game. The Gunk, which looked like an action platformer again. The Medium, which is a story-driven horror action game, we think. Maybe there'll be no action. It's the Bloober Team. We'll never know. Phantasy Star Online New Genesis, which is a MMORPG. And then Crossfire X, which is a single-player... is it first-person?
I'm pretty sure it's first-person.
First-person game. The thing that I'm not saying this was perfect by any means, because for a perfect show, you want to see more gameplay, right?
Yeah.
But in comparison to your competition, they did exactly the same thing and showed more of first-party stuff.
Yeah.
And people are still I guarantee we're going to go for it in chat, right? And I guarantee it's going to be, there weren't enough. They literally, we just spoke about it. They covered all the bases of different genre games from a first-person and second-party place, with it being exclusive to their console. What more can they do?
I don't think there's any more than they could have done here. At this point, if people don't like it, it's because Microsoft's the underdog.
Oh, sorry, Fable, which is a fantasy RPG.
Fable as well, yeah. And it will be because Microsoft is the underdog. But I do think that overall, for the people who don't have their heads up their own asses, this will be a good conference, right?
I think
it'll be a solid conference, whether it's for you or not, right?
That's my thing. Like, you can sit there and say there's nothing there that interests you. Fine, because everyone has their own taste. But I'm trying to compare it to PlayStation show. I really am. Because I'm going, Spider-Man. Okay, it's Spider-Man. We know what it is. It's a superhero action open world game, which that's just DLC. That's a expansion. So that's only going to be a small expansion you're going to be getting there, right? So that's that one out of the way. And that was one of the big hits.
Yeah.
Then we go to, I'm trying to really think in my head now. Then we go to, they showed NBA. Microsoft didn't even bother with any sports games at this showing.
Yeah.
They could have showed Madden again. They could have shown Madden again.
Would you
If
consider Forza a sports game?
yes, yes, I would.
Okay.
It's a racing game, so
Yeah.
definitely. We got Zygus just pointing out. We got 28. We got 21 games. 8 of them which are brand new IP. Have we not
Yeah.
been screaming for brand new IP?
No, absolutely. I think they did just as good as Sony did. I don't think they got blown out of the water by Sony. I think they hit the same notes. But them being the underdog will be why people are going to look at it and they're going to be like, they didn't do enough. Where's the gameplay? Where's all this other stuff that you don't ask
Release
from Sony?
dates.
Yeah, maybe they'll mention release dates. I don't think they'll mention release dates because, you know what? You're probably right. They will absolutely. But it's I don't know. I feel like they had a good show. I feel like they showed a ton of stuff. I feel like they showed proof of concept because you have to remember they aren't trying to win the moment. They're trying to win you on selling you a console that's supposed to last a long time. So showing proof of concept and stuff like that, great. They should do that. They should do more of that. We have some launch exclusives. Good. They should do that. You need that type of stuff to succeed. You're not going to succeed without that stuff.
I totally agree with you. I don't know if you can hear the banging in the background of my house.
I can't.
You can't? Good.
No.
Yeah, so for me, it's like, okay, let's go through some questions because we got a little bit here. Any other year, I think that's enough. But when it's your big console launch year, probably needed more. I want to answer this question, Slayer, to you because you've asked it to us. What more could they have shown? They showed 9 of their 15 studios. You can't just magic up a new Gears.
Unless you're saying that the games weren't enough, right? The games they showed weren't enough. They didn't hit home with you. Which in that case, is that a bad conference or was it just not for you?
That's my thing. It's like, what more could they have done? I don't know. I generally don't know what more could they have done that people would have been happy with. So, chat, I want to get you involved, or we can just stop here if you're finished. Like, it don't bother me. Like, how do you guys feel after that? Does that get you more excited for an Xbox Series X? Does that get you more excited to play your games on probably xCloud? Does that get your games to make you more excited to carry on playing on your Xbox One X? What are we doing here? Like, what do you guys think? I feel like the journey is going to be better than the content. Would you mean
in what
by
regard?
that? Yeah. Don't forget, this one's from Danone. Don't forget, it's only the beginning. More to show from the other studios, but they've showed a lot though.
Yeah, they also mentioned they're going to have another conference later in the year. And if they mention that, like, do you want them to blow their everything here and not have something later down the road? Because I think they did a good enough job here. If they do want to do another show later, to hold some stuff back for it, I'm absolutely fine with that.
Slayer says, I would have liked more gameplay. I think Everwild in particular was one I wanted more from. The games they show just aren't my type of games as well. So I would love to hear because you were in here when we did the Sony stuff and you loved that. Because I'm trying to really understand it here at this point where like Sony shows stuff and everyone goes nuts. Xbox shows stuff.
But to be fair, Sony is a known commodity in terms of a known quantity and quality in terms of what they bring out. They are good games. Microsoft, in terms of going to new IPs and doing all this stuff, hasn't necessarily been a success. Themselves. Exactly. So I'm not saying it's
no. I like your take.
It's a good excuse, but that is like you wouldn't be wrong if you were to say that. Like I can't just trust something if they just show me like a proof of concept. I need to actually see gameplay or play the game before I can start trusting everything Microsoft does.
Yeah. Fixer, we don't answer this on your podcast. We're talking about your box. I don't know what the hell you're talking about there. Okay, here we go. Stead says, and there is a little point showing games that are 2020 or later. Chances are they will change substantially between now and the release. Virtual Trick says, It definitely doesn't make me want to buy an Xbox, but I don't think that's really what they want. Interesting.
I don't know about that anymore. Because like there were a lot of games here that were Series X exclusives. Like Everwild, which I assume is coming out like 2021, right? Is going to be a Series X exclusive. So maybe they're planning on dropping the Xbox One even sooner than we had thought.
So, okay, Slayer's come back to us and says, So for me, Sony are showing things like Spider-Man, which is a DLC. I want to add that. Horizon Zero Dawn, Ratchet and Clank, Demon Souls. These are franchise games that are proven, and Microsoft have new IP which are unpredictable. And when they show new IPs, they have to show more than established franchises. We know what to expect from games like Spider-Man, hence why the lack of gameplay doesn't bother me much. I think that's so unreasonable. We know what to expect from Fable.
Yeah.
We know what to expect from State of Decay, really. It may look prettier, but we know what type of game that's going to be.
Is knowing what to expect from State of Decay good for that game, though? State of Decay 2 wasn't a great game.
I think it's... But State of Decay weren't a great game because of bugs. It weren't... To me, it wasn't a bad game.
But still, I mean, even if you are like that with bugs, what's you to see the State of Decay 3 and be like, oh man, this is going to be a good game, right?
I agree. I think it's me giving the benefit of that and knowing how good State of Decay 1 was.
Okay.
I don't look at State of Decay and think State of Decay 2. I think State of Decay 1.
Yeah, I'm different with that. I never played one. Yeah. But even if I had played one, like, I'd rather look at their latest entry as opposed to their first entry.
Let's go, because I think we're definitely brushing over the main thing they showed here. Halo.
Yeah.
They showed
Halo
absolutely with Halo gameplay, which we know is going to be fantastic. They showed Fable with a CG trailer. They showed Forza, which is, again, one of the best sports games. Like, I feel like we're just at that point where I'm like...
Yeah, but Fable isn't a known commodity, like a known quality, if we're being honest.
If I go look... Okay, I'd love to know what Fable
because it's a new developer. Like, even if this was a next Fable game, like let's say it was way back whenever Microsoft first acquired Fable and it was a brand new Fable game, let's call it Fable 4, and they're like, oh, Playground's making it. You still have to look at it with a grain of salt because it is a different developer. It's not the normal developer that makes the game. Like, we know the possibility of Fable as a franchise.
So we're saying because Bluepoint have made great remakes before, we have to guarantee that they're going to make a great remake in Demon's Souls. That's what you're saying, right?
A remake's different. Why? Like, a remake is you're taking it. Right. No, absolutely. I'm just saying, like, you're taking an already existing game and you're upgrading it, right? That's not the same thing as like, here's a franchise and make something with it. Like, take one's like, here you go, sketch something, like put a piece of paper over your screen and just like outline it. And the other one's like, here's an idea, now go and draw it, right? They're two different things.
Interesting. Okay, that's fine. All right, interesting. I just think we're gonna get wrapped up in. I feel like for the next, until these consoles launch now, really, it's going to be a pissing war between PlayStation and Xbox, which doesn't matter to me either way. I'm gonna buy both. But
absolutely.
From an Xbox point of view, I just feel like it's gonna be. I can already feel the conversation being that weren't enough.
Yeah, and I mean, it will be. But to be fair, even at Sony's show, people were saying it wasn't enough. It wasn't a lot of people, but people were saying that about Sony. So, and Sony's the bigger console, so it makes sense why Microsoft would get that more, because there's less people that are invested. No money investment, but they're invested in the consoles, right?
I mean, I just think this conference doesn't live or die on Halo, and Halo looked but you could. I would still say this was a good conference without Halo. Is my thing. It's even better with Halo, obviously, but I think it was a good conference without Halo. It showed all I've been screaming about is how Xbox need to build new IPs.
Yeah,
they built a load of new IPs, and
people
are going to be like, it's not enough, not enough new IP.
I absolutely
too much new IP.
I think the conference also flowed really well. I think they showed games. I think it looked good. All the quality was good. It flowed well. They didn't stick to talking points too much. They talked about it a little bit, moved on to the next thing. It went from one thing to the other. The pacing was very good. I think this was a good conference. I agree that I don't think it would have been as hard hitting without Halo, obviously, but I do think even without Halo, it would have been a good conference, right?
Interesting. Yeah. Okay, let's wrap it up then. Thank you all for watching. I really do appreciate it. Let me know what you guys think for next week's My Xbox and Me, which will be recorded Tuesday. Email in myxboxandmepodcast@gmail.com. gmail.com, or you can post questions in the Discord, or you can post questions on Twitter. We will put out a tweet. Zyger, put out a tweet at some point, please. Let us know how hyped you was. Let us know if you enjoyed it. Let us know what you thought. Again, we've had a big influx of people come in from the Tim Gates episode, so hello and welcome. I hope you enjoyed it. And until next time, I will love you, leave you, and see you all later. Kresh, thank you so much for joining us. Goodbye.
No problem.